Rachel Zegler is one of the most hated women in Hollywood, and for good reason. She constantly attacks fans, she belittled the source material, and she really isn't the nice, charming woman that Snow White is supposed to be. But now, Disney's Christmas Day Snow White preview is seeing another massive dislike ratio, pointing to the fact that Disney's going to lose a lot of money on this. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, of course, Disney is pumping out the live action adaptations because they know it's a quick way to bank on people's nostalgia. Look at something like The Lion King, for example. The first one made $1 billion. People loved it. Even though that's like 95% CGI, they still like to call it a live action adaptation. But Mufasa, the recent prequel, did not do so well. You have Cinderella, which did pretty good. Mulan, which was a complete and utter failure. Little Mermaid, which is a complete and utter failure. Beauty and the Beast, which did good. Aladdin, which did good. So they're still viewing it as a potential way to make money because they've had more wins than losses, though their losses are definitely mounting, and Snow White is not going to be a smashing success for them. We can already see that from a mile away. They've delayed it because they claim they needed just some more time to polish it, though it seems that they were hoping people were going to forget about Rachel Zegler's disgusting attitude, and that has not happened. And so each and every preview they've launched has gotten obliterated by ex-Disney fans or people who just simply are following the Rachel Zegler saga on social media, and it looks like they are in for a very rough time in March. So a Christmas Day preview of the upcoming Disney Snow White remake is once again amassing the wrong kind of attention. The video garnered a huge dislike ratio that seems to center around the film's deeply unpopular star, Rachel Zegler. She has acted terrible over the past couple of years, ever since they announced she was going to be Snow White. Sure, she's had some successes in that time, like the Hunger Games, but it was still the worst Hunger Games movie out of them all, judging by user scores and judging by what it brought in for cash, though it's situations like this that make me personally dislike Rachel Zegler. In the middle of all of the controversy a few months ago, she decided to step out with a "No Tears Left to Cry" sweatshirt in an emotional statement. I mean, even the media was trying to claim this. Snow White star Rachel Zegler wears her heart on her chest as she steps out in New York, sporting a very emotional slogan on her sweater amid furious backlash over her Disney criticisms. Yeah, when you are an actress of a film and you previously claimed that you hated the 1937 classic and you called the prince a stalker and you said the storylines were weird, people are going to heavily criticize you, and you deserve all of the backlash that you are getting. But if Disney thought that its Snow White detractors might have been feeling generous or in the holiday spirit when it dropped its latest preview for its upcoming film, they were proven wrong. In what has become a predictable trend, viewers turned out in droves to click the thumbs down button on the House of Mouse's latest Zegler-centric video. So the Christmas Day premiere featured a sneak peek showcasing Zegler performing an original song titled "Waiting on a Wish," and it bothers me the way that she sings in this movie because Snow White used to be very soft, very delicate, very feminine, and instead you've got Rachel Zegler, who, yes, is a good theater kid, but she's not supposed to be belting, and she does in every single audio clip that we have heard. And I don't necessarily dislike new songs being added to these live action adaptations, like in Beauty and the Beast. There was one that I thought really added to the experience. In Aladdin, there was also one too. They're not bad additions as long as you're not taking away other content to shove these songs in, though it just does not feel like Snow White at all whatsoever. And again, it's not like we have Snow White and the Huntsman here that's supposed to be wildly different. This is supposed to be a remake of the 37 film. But unfortunately for Disney, the reception on YouTube was once again overwhelmingly negative, with the song amassing around 16,000 dislikes compared to just 2,900 likes as of writing. So that's terrible for Disney in totality, only getting, 20,000 people who felt strongly enough to like or dislike the song and the upload. But it was still an extremely unfavorable response, and it isn't isolated to the song alone. Every trailer released for Snow White has been met with a similar tide of dislikes, signaling deeper issue with the film's troubled launch. A significant portion of the negative sentiment appears to be directed at Zegler herself, stemming from her highly publicized meltdowns and controversial behavior since being cast as Snow White. This is very disappointing for so many people who were really initially excited for this adaptation to see Snow White come to life. They picked who they thought was, Hollywood's upcoming star, that she was going to do crazy because of West Side Story. She was cast in the Hunger Games, so they thought that she was going to be the next big thing. Though she's certainly no Sydney Sweeney, she is not beloved by many, many people, and from the outset, she had been a polarizing figure. She made headlines by clarifying that she wouldn't bleach her skin to play Snow White, which nobody asked her to do. It was a stance that some interpreted as a defensive reaction to the casting of a Hispanic actress in a traditionally white role. We know one of the other trailers had 25,000 likes to 729,000 dislikes. These are terrible for Disney. It could not be any worse. And on top of all of this, we also had heard that they went through multiple rounds of reshoots. There was even a rumor, this has not been confirmed, so take it with a grain of salt, that they have a younger version of Snow White within this movie, and she plays a really prominent role now because they wanted to kind of move away from Zegler being the only Snow White on screen. I feel like they were probably panicking, so they filmed a bunch of extra content, and it's going to be slashed and copy and pasted together, which I don't think is a winning strategy. I think that you have to have something that feels very cohesive and very intentional, and I do not think that that is going to happen with this film. And Zegler has, over the past couple of months, been very vocal when it's come to things like the election. She launched a social media tantrum tirade against President-elect Donald Trump and his supporters. Her statement, "May Trump and his supporters never know peace," ignited outrage so intense that she was compelled to issue an official apology on social media, even though, let's keep it a buck, it wasn't really her, it was her PR team. Last year, she actually had to get a brand new PR team because she was doing so terribly and ruining Disney's image and this film's image so badly. And then her recent film, Y2K, completely bombed. It failed to make a significant impact at the box office, grossing a mere $4.2 million. So things are not going so well in the world of Rachel Zegler, and also for Disney. It will be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of months. We are only 3 months away from its release, and I think she's going to clearly have to go into interviews. She's probably going to make a lot of controversial statements. Maybe over the past year, she's really been training with that PR team so that she doesn't say anything controversial, but I highly doubt it. She's opinionated. She doesn't really know when she is damaging her reputation and Disney's and when she's actually helping. She doesn't quite understand why people have even been upset at her over the past couple of years. So I will be keeping my eye on this, but Disney's Christmas Day Snow White preview saw another massive dislike ratio on top of the recent trailer released just a few days ago that was getting obliterated. But that's all that I had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.